Knowing your truth and being and living in alignment with that truth is a critical part of happiness. If you don't live according to your truth, if you don't know what it is, you can't possibly make the right decisions for your life. You're definitely not going to be able to find people who are actually compatible to you. You're not going to do the right thing, and you're definitely not going to speak the truth. Also, you're going to unintentionally gaslight everyone. The downside of the process of socialization, which all of us go through, is that we are trained that certain things are unacceptable and certain things are acceptable. Now, what is acceptable versus unacceptable depends highly on the specific social structure that we are born into and raised in. When there is something that is true for us or true about us that fits into that category of unacceptable in our society, we are automatically going to feel shame about it. And when we feel shame about it, we're going to automatically go into this behavior where we suppress, ignore, reject, and try to disown and deny that truth. We do this so effectively for the sake of our own survival that we don't only hide this truth from other people, we also try to hide it from ourselves. But just because we try to deny truth doesn't mean that it goes away. Instead, it will simply show through. But what this will do is it will make us a very confusing person. It'll make it so that we throw other people into a state of cognitive dissonance when they're around us, because there's so much of a contradiction between what we're saying and how we're behaving. Now, all of this adds up to the fact that we will be gaslighting them. So let's discuss what we mean by gaslighting. To gaslight someone is to sow seeds of doubt in their mind that make them question their own sense of personal truth and reality. Things like memory, judgment, perception, feelings, etc. It's to try to convince someone that what they see, they didn't see, what they hear, they didn't hear, and what they feel, they have no reason to feel. To learn more about gaslighting, you can watch my video titled Gaslighting: What is Gaslighting and How to Heal from It. If we are ashamed of a truth we have, we will go to great lengths to suppress, ignore, disown, reject, hide, and deny it. We will fail to do so completely, and so that truth will still shine through. As a result, we will be a walking contradiction. We will gaslight people with what we say versus what we do and how they see and experience us. To help you understand this dynamic, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. First, we're going to look at the example of Joel. Joel was born to a very, very young single mother. His mother had a pattern of getting with men, getting pregnant by those men, and then getting abandoned by those same men. Now, as a result, Joel's mother kept having babies, but babies with different fathers, all of whom did not step in and take care of those children. Also, Joel's mother lived off of the government. What all this added up to is that Joel, in his early life, ended up taking on all kinds of responsibilities that were absolutely not age appropriate. Joel's childhood experience gave rise to an extreme desire to not have any responsibility, most especially for anyone else. The truth is, as an adult, he wants to be guided, provided for, protected, taken care of, and for someone to take responsibility for him. The thing is, Joel lives in a society that says that these desires and this truth is wrong. In fact, the only way to be a good person, and the only way for sure to be a man, and the only way to be respected is to be the opposite. To be the person who is totally responsible. To be the one who steps up and provides for others and takes care of them and protects them and guides them. So Joel finds himself in a little bit of a quagmire. Joel is so ashamed of his truth that he denies this truth. This sets up a little bit of a problem for him in relationships, because when he first gets into relationships, he gives off a very different impression of who he is than what is the actual reality. Essentially, he can't keep up this responsible facade for very long, and after a period of time, it starts to slip, and everyone around him is like, who the hell is this guy that we've never met? Because suddenly, he's acting passive. Suddenly, he isn't stepping up and taking responsibility. Suddenly, he's not taking the leadership position in any situation that he's in. Suddenly, he's setting up dynamics where other people have to take care of him and provide for him. Essentially, people are soon experiencing the truth about Joel, but yet he continues to say that responsibility is everything and that he really wants to step up and provide and protect and be there for others. So as a result, everybody around him starts to feel totally gaslit by him. Our next example is Kala. Kala is a woman who was born and raised in and still lives in a Muslim community, and to be honest with you, Kala has never really fit in very well. The truth about Kala is that she is opinionated. She is driven. She is success-oriented. She loves status. She is actually in love with money. She's also very strategic and very achievement-oriented. However, Kala's society frowns upon these character traits in a woman. Kala feels ashamed of who she really is, so she does her best to become the model woman according to her society. She does her best to practice charity, be obedient, devote her time to helping other people succeed, and tell herself and her children that money must not be a distraction from what truly matters. The thing is, because this isn't the truth of who Kala is as a person, she's a very confusing person to be around. One minute, Kala will show up with food in another person's house when they're going through a tough time. The next minute, she will erupt in exasperation that she even had to do that, even though nobody was forcing her to do so. She has chosen a life with a husband and with 2 little girls, yet she consistently acts as if she resents being a parent. She does not like being there for her 2 little girls, and when she takes them to school, it's a sigh of relief because then she can focus all of her time and energy on succeeding at becoming the best at what her personal hobby is, which is singing. Kala professes to not care about money or status, yet she swoons over designer handbags, and she is constantly getting in fights with her husband over her tendency to buy things just based off of the fact that they are status-oriented things, regardless of whether their price is justified. Kala is also always competing with the other women in her society, competing with how she looks versus how they look, competing about what she knows as opposed to what they know, competing about what she has as opposed to what they have. It's driving everyone in this community insane. Kala's husband is constantly confused and frustrated by her. She acts like she hates their life together, but leads him to believe the opposite. The other women in her community often talk behind Kala's back about how snake-like she is, mostly because it feels to them like she simply feigns friendship when really she is treacherous. The reality is that Kala would be a much happier person, and much less gaslighting, if she would just own who she really is. I know it's easier said than done. But the reality is, Kala would be a kick-ass businesswoman. If she would simply own the aspect of her that is this super-driven, achievement-oriented, strategic personality type, putting herself in the right setting and social sphere, she would be celebrated for those very traits that have been rejected by the current society that she is living in. People would find her much less frightening if she were unapologetically the way she really is, as opposed to trying to cover up who she really is and coming across deceptive instead. Because Kala is ashamed of the truth of herself, she unintentionally gaslights other people. People can tell she's one way, but she goes to great lengths to have you believe she is another way. All this being said, there is such a thing as intentional conscious gaslighting, which is a form of psychological abuse. But there is also the reality of this unconscious, unintentional gaslighting. One example of this is when people occupy parallel perceptual realities. To understand more about that, you can watch my video titled The Most Dangerous Parallel Reality. But unintentional gaslighting can also occur if somebody is so ashamed of a truth that even though you see it, they are still in the process of trying to deny it. Therefore, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like somebody is gaslighting you about themselves, you might want to consider that you're only going to reach the truth if, 1, either you are able to make that truth that they currently are denying because of shame okay for them to have, or 2, that person becomes brave enough to stand by and own that truth regardless of any potential consequences. Have a good week. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and consider sharing this video with your friends. You can also click on the bell icon to be notified of the next time that I post a video. I want to thank you personally for the bravery that you have to step into awareness. I'll see you in the next video.